How he did it, I don't know. That's, once again, that's why you never follow someone who's a genetic freak, because they're not normal. You want to ask the guy who's the hard gainer, hey, how'd you get big arms? Because you must know the secrets. Ronnie doesn't know the secrets. Ronnie just knows hard work. The more I do, the better I look. I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
Do you think the Dorian way of high-intensity training is a forgotten system with today's professional bodybuilders? Most videos I see today does not seem to have that same devastating effect that Blood and Guts did.
You know, I don't think a lot of people, even in the 90s, did the Dorian system. I think there were a lot of people who tried it, but I think a lot of pros always did more volume because they just like going to the gym. And a lot of those guys don't have real jobs. So it's not like they have to rush in and out of the gym. So they'd rather do extra sets because I remember I was talking to Paul DeMeo once, and we were talking about the high intensity system of training. And I said, I've been doing Dorian's routine, except I'm doing a little bit more volume than Dorian did, probably doing 6 to 10 or 12 sets for most movements, for each body part. I said, but I was doing 25 before that. I know a lot of guys, Paul's like, yeah, I do like 25 sets, 20 to 25 sets. He's like, but you know what? He goes, if I didn't go to the gym and do that many sets and I was in and out in 20, 30, 40 minutes, I would be bored out of my mind all day. I enjoy training. So some people do more by convention just because they like to go to the gym and train. I always felt that my body did better on less volume, more intensity, because I tend to overtrain real easily. So for me, it worked really well. Some guys can get away with more volume. I never, ever suggest doing crazy high volume because I just don't think that anyone can recover from that adequately, at least. And, same thing with cardio. I mean, I see people say, I like high intensity cardio better. Well, guess what? High intensity cardio is like weight training. And if you're doing it every single day, you're going to overtrain as well. The most important principle of the Menser Dorian system of training is that rest is vital to grow. And most bodybuilders tend to be OCD. We tend to want to overdo it. More training is better. We have a weak body part, we'll train it 3 times a week, right? But that's the wrong thing to do. If you have a weak body part, it means it doesn't recover well. You want to train it less, not more times a week. And so I think that that's a huge mistake that people make. It's mentally kind of ingrained that if you want to improve something, you have to do more. But really, what Dorian and Menser and Arthur Jones before him showed us was that intensity is more important than volume. Intensity also goes along with how much weight you're lifting. So if you can lift the heaviest weight possible with the highest intensity, meaning output, ensure you engage those muscles to the maximum, getting every last fiber to lift that weight, that's how you're going to make the best gains, because you're going to break down the most fibers and then you're going to repair those fibers bigger and better than they were before, and you're going to make gains and improvements. Just going through the motion using volume is not going to engage fibers that are not being used because the body doesn't need to. The weight's lighter. The body doesn't need to use all the fiber types or all the fibers in that muscle to lift the weight. So it uses just what it needs. And you never, ever get into those deep fibers that really, really give that grainy, 3D dense muscle look. And once you can get into that fiber type, amazing things happen. Now, Ronnie Coleman was weird. He was an anomaly because Ronnie did the high intensity level training with high volume. And somehow he recovered because he's a genetic freak. So he was lifting heavy. He was using full range of motion. He was giving 100. He was doing what Dorian was doing. And he was doing a lot of sets on top of that. And he was training each body part twice a week at one point. How he did it, I don't know. That's, once again, that's why you never follow someone who's a genetic freak, because they're not normal. You want to ask the guy who's the hard gainer, hey, how'd you get big arms? Because you must know the secrets. Ronnie doesn't know the secrets. Ronnie just knows hard work. The more I do, the better I look. That's not the case for most people.
We'll take one more question. I know this episode is probably one of the longer ones that we've recorded, but we have so many questions that we will not get to on this episode. But again, we appreciate all the support that you've given us really over the last few weeks on this show, and the input, the amount of questions, the quality of questions. So it is very much appreciated. This one's from BA85MEZ. I'm sure this has been asked before, but what's the best time of the day to inject Test E? I do cardio in the morning at 7:30 a.m., weight training at about 11 a.m. Would that have any effect on the dose if I was taking it in the morning? Keen to hear your opinion. Keep up the great work.
Same as I said before, it doesn't matter. Your body doesn't know when you're injecting. It's irrelevant. You can inject it in the middle of the night. You can do it first thing in the morning. You can do it before you go to bed. It does not matter, because these compounds do not act immediately. It's not like you're taking a caffeine pill and in 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to feel the effects of the caffeine. Steroids take a long time to kind of do their thing, so to speak, especially the longer acting compounds that have to get into your blood. They have to be released from the ester they're linked to, and then go into the circulation and go to the androgen receptor. That doesn't happen immediately. So you can take a shot and then go to the gym. You're not going to get any benefit from it. You can come back from the gym and take a shot. You're not going to get any benefit from that shot, not for another day or two, probably afterwards. So it doesn't really matter. Do it when it's convenient for you. That's my best advice.